Hello! So in my Pokemon Legends Arceus trailer breakdown video, I said, also, who is this professor? I don't even have a guess for that. I've been racking my brain around that question ever since the trailer dropped, and I've come up with 3 possibilities. I'm gonna present evidence for and against each one, and then I'm gonna reveal exactly who I think the professor will be. Ooh, I'm so excited! Okay, so first possibility, this professor is a completely new random character. This would be the easiest option for the developers to take because they wouldn't really need to connect this professor with anything that happens in the future. They'd kind of have free reign to make this character whatever they like. But what's easy isn't always what's best. Having it be some random person would be so boring and bland. Plus, if it was just some random person, why are they presenting them in such a mysterious way? Typically for the first trailer of Pokemon games, they either don't show or mention the professor at all, like in Sword and Shield, or they explicitly show who the professor is, like in Sun and Moon. For Pokemon Legends Arceus, they don't show the professor, but they give us weird hints about them. Like they said that this professor has traveled to other regions, and they show the professor's lab. Is it still called a lab if it doesn't have typical laboratory equipment? Anyways, this is too unusual for this professor to be some random nobody. Which brings me to option 2. This person is related to someone from the future. I actually really like this option because it gives the developers some room to be creative while still giving us, the players, more lore to dive into. And logically, it makes sense because a lot of times famous people will pass down their relevance to their children. You know, like how the children of famous people often get famous because of their parents' connections. The great-grandkids of a professor probably had a lot more opportunities than the descendants of some random NPC. So we should look at potential great. Anyways, the most likely descendant of this professor is Cynthia. As champion, Cynthia holds arguably the highest position in the Sinnoh region. Her grandmother is the elder of Celestic Town, which is the oldest settlement in Sinnoh. And it is located right next to Eterna City, which I'm pretty sure is the city from the trailer. I could definitely see this professor moving to Celestic Town by the end of the game as a sort of historian slash protector kind of character. They would then pass down their knowledge to their children, and they to their children, and so on and so forth until you get to Cynthia, who, as we all know, is interested in history and mythology. I also think it would make sense from a marketing perspective to have someone related to Cynthia because she's probably the most popular character in the Gen 4 games. You'd think that'd be it, right? Like, it's obviously just gonna be someone related to Cynthia. Except there's one option that I think might be even more interesting, and that's someone who's traveled not only from region to region, but through the Pokemon multiverse. In case you're not aware, in Pokemon lore, each individual copy of the game is considered a parallel version of reality. This is why players can make different choices in the game, like their name and starter, but most of the aspects of the story stay the same. It's like some things are fated to happen, and other things are a little more variable. This bit of lore started all the way back in Gen 1 with the link cable. Back in the old days, we had to connect our Game Boys with a link cable whenever we wanted to trade or battle. In the Delta episode of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it was explained that the device that connects warp holes, aka the portals to alternate versions of reality, is called a link cable. Like, this is explicitly stated in the game. People who travel to different versions of reality are called fallers. The most well-known fallers are Looker, Annabelle, and Zinnia. Speaking of Zinnia, it's pretty clear that she is from the future of a different reality. We know this because she talks about things that haven't happened yet in the player's reality, but have happened in hers. Like the meteor that's about to hit Hoenn in the Delta episode has already hit Zinnia's Hoenn and killed her daughter Astrid. And people say Pokemon isn't dark. This means that all versions of reality and all times of reality are happening simultaneously. I mean, we already kind of knew this because in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you can transfer Pokemon back to Red, Blue, and Yellow using the time capsule, aka the link cable. But moving on, I don't think our mysterious professor is any of the fallers I've listed so far. I think the professor for Pokemon Legends Arceus will be Cyrus. But Kayla, Cyrus ends up stuck in the distortion world. Yeah, in some versions of reality. We've actually already seen an alternate reality version of Cyrus in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. I think it's entirely possible that the Ultra Sun and Moon Cyrus, or some other version of Cyrus, could travel to the past. Are we gonna get our first evil professor? Or maybe he's learned and changed? Nah, he's totally gonna be evil. But this wouldn't be a good theory if my only evidence was that having an evil time-traveling professor would be super cool. So let's go through why I think Cyrus is the most likely candidate to be this mysterious professor. First things first, it makes sense for this professor to be somehow related to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Realistically, the more connections between the remakes and this prequel, the better it will be for both of their sales. And how perfect would it be for Cyrus to go from the remakes to the prequel, which because he's doing that would also make it a sequel. Still not convinced? Okay, I'm about to blow your minds. Ready? Look at the symbol for Team Galactic. Now look at the symbol from these flags in the professor's lab. And the symbol on the player character's sleeves. These are too similar for this to be a coincidence. And before you start thinking, couldn't it be an ancestor of Cyrus then? No, because in the game, his parents and grandparents disapprove of him. So it's very unlikely that he got this symbol from his family. Need more evidence? Look in front of the flag. This looks like somewhere where a bird Pokemon might perch. One of Cyrus's main Pokemon is Honchkrow, a bird Pokemon. Now look to the left of the desk. What is that? It looks entirely too futuristic for everything else in the game. Unless it's just a mirror or a piece of paper, but it looks like it's made of metal. So could he have made that using his knowledge of the future? Even his wanting to make a Pokédex makes sense because of what he says to the player in Ultra Sun and Moon. Like, guys, it's gotta be Cyrus, right? Right? Who do you think this mysterious professor will be? Drop your theories in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram @KaylaCapsule for sneak peeks of upcoming videos. Bye.